Hey ghouls and gals, welcome back to my channel. My name is Taylor and today's video is going to be my most anticipated books that are coming out in the month of April. Now, I have been doing one of these videos every single month, so if you're looking for January, February, or March releases, I definitely have a video for all of those, so definitely check them out. I started doing these videos monthly instead of yearly just because I could fit more books in to each month. So without further ado, let's just go ahead and get started and talk about some really exciting books that are coming out this month or next month. I'm not sure when I'm publishing this, but in the month of April. All these books are coming out in April. The first book on my radar is House of Holo by Krystal Sutherland. This is coming out April 6th by Penguin Teen. So this is a dark and twisty modern fairy tale about a group of three sisters who have some sort of interesting magical bond. When these sisters are children, they all go missing one day. They are not missing for long. They are returned back to their home, but something is a little bit different about them since they went missing. These sisters don't really have any memory of the night that they went missing, and they try and go about their lives as normal as possible because there are some weird things that have happened to them since they disappeared. But everything is seemingly normal until one of the sisters vanishes again, and the other two sisters have to confront things that have happened in their past to help solve this disappearance in their present time. I like modern fairy tales. I like books about sisters. I think this is going to focus on the sister relationship between these three young women. The cover looks really cool, and I love the plot device of I'm just guessing from the bare bones synopsis that we have, but there's maybe some sort of fairy or changeling magic going on here. I'm very interested to see what this book has in store, and it sounds like it is going to be a very character-driven mystery with some magic thrown in there, so that looks really exciting. The next book, I'm really not sure what it is about, despite me having read the synopsis on Goodreads several times. That is going to be Pieces by Helen Oyeyemi, and this is a book about a couple who take a train voyage with their pet mongoose, and they think they're the only people on this train. This train seems like it's a lot more magical than initially expected. They just thought it was an ordinary train voyage, and then they discover that they're not the only people on this train, and this person has a surprising message for them, and that's all I really know. I have no idea what this book is about, but it just looks like the right kind of weird that I've been super into with books lately. So I've also heard wonderful things about the author, so I am looking forward to this one, and this is tagged as magical realism, literary fiction, science fiction, romance, and fantasy. So I don't really know what I'm getting into with this book, but it looks very intriguing, and I don't think I mentioned it before, but it does come out April 6th by Riverhead Books. The next book on my radar is, I believe, a horror slash thriller slash mystery book, and that is going to be The Drowning Kind by Jennifer McMahon, and this is going to be published April 6th by Gallery Scout Press. This is another one that focuses heavily on sister relationships. That's one of my favorite tropes, but this one, as opposed to the lighter YA magical realism fantasy of House of Holo, this one is more of a darker thriller ride. So this is about a social worker named Jax, and her sister Lexi has had some mental troubles, struggles with her mental health in the past. They used to be really close as kids. These sisters aren't close anymore, but her sister ends up dead at a supposed suicide. Upon her sister's death, our main character returns home and is kind of going through the stages of grief and also learning more about her family's history and the houses and like the property's history, and discovers some darker things about this land and this property. So I'm looking forward to that one. Again, I'm not really sure what kind of genre to put this in. It is listed on Goodreads as both a horror, thriller, mystery, historical fiction, and also paranormal. So yeah, I don't know if it's going to be more of a paranormal thriller or more of a quieter mystery or like a horror, but I am very intrigued with the content in here, and I will be looking forward to picking it up. This is another author that I've heard really good things about, and I just haven't picked up any of her work yet, so I'm looking forward to reading this one. The next book on my radar is Victories Greater Than Death, Universal Expansion, book number 1 by Charlie Jane Anders. This comes out April 13th by Tor Teen, and this says it is a cross between Star Wars and Doctor Who. It's a thrilling adventure set against an intergalactic war. So this follows a person named Tina. who always has known her destiny is to be great because she's the human clone of one of the most brilliant alien commanders in all of the galaxy. And it looks like it's following her and a ragtag crew, which I absolutely love those vibes as well, like Guardians of the Galaxy, any sort of found family in space. I love that. It says she's got a crew around her she can trust, her best friend at her side, and now they have to save the world. This just sounds really fun. I love space operas. The cover is really cool. We love a vibrant hair color in science fiction or fantasy, and I really enjoy Tor as an imprint. I love their books, and I don't think I've ever actually read anything from Tor Teen. So I'm excited to read this one from them. They are an imprint that never really lets me down, and this is the first in a space opera trilogy, which is very exciting. The next book on my radar is The Mary Shelley Club by Goldy Moldavsky, and this comes out April 13th by Henry Holt and Company. And this is a YA thriller that the comp title is Scream, which is very exciting. I love those movies. And this is about a mysterious club with an obsession for horror. This also has like some dark academia vibes. Our main character is new to this school. She's trying to fit in. She learns about the mysterious Mary Shelley Club, which is a secret club of students with one objective: come up with the scariest prank to orchestrate real fear. But as these pranks escalate, the competition turns cutthroat and takes on a life of its own. When the tables are turned and someone targets the club itself, our main protagonist Rachel must track down the real life monster in their midst, even if it means confronting something dark within her own past. I love books that are odes to horror tropes. I just love horror as a genre. I'm very hit or miss, to be honest, on YA thrillers. I either really like them or they're just not the type of books for me. But since this one does kind of play upon a bunch of horror tropes and kind of sounds a little bit meta, how they call themselves the Mary Shelley Club and things like that, and then how also it's got some dark academia vibes to it, I think this sounds like a YA thriller that is exactly up my alley. I'm looking forward to reading it. The next book on my radar is The Helm of Midnight, The Five Penalties, book number 1 by Marina J. Lostetter, and this comes out April 13th by Tor Books. So this is a fantasy novel. It takes place in a fantasy world, but a legendary serial killer stalks the streets of this fantastical city. So it sounds like it's going to be like crime thriller meets a fantasy setting, which sounds really, really fun. It's about a serial killer who looks like is now a ghost or a demon, like they've come back from the grave, and now it's up to a group of people, including our main protagonist, to enter the mind of madness to stop this killer while facing the terrible truths left in his wake. I'm really excited about this one. This sounds like a really fun hybrid blend of genres. I don't know how this is going to tie into a larger series because it sounds like a self-contained story, but maybe it'll be like a monster of the week sort of thing. I don't know. I'm fine with either, or maybe this is leading up to a bigger conflict in this fantasy world. Either way, I feel like I don't see enough horror fantasy, so I'm very much looking forward to this kind of blend between the two. Again, another book by Tor. Tor always has these really out-of-the-box style of ideas that I'll read the synopsis and I won't be really sure of what I'm getting into, but I know it'll be a good time, so I'm looking forward to this one. The next book on my list is Sistersong by Lucy Hounsom. This comes out April 15th by McMahon Books. And this is a fantasy that is set in 535 AD, which just is a period of time that I don't think I've read any fantasy that is inspired by this period of time, so I'm very much looking forward to the vibes of that. It's also following a group of sisters, so you can kind of tell the tropes that I'm into in this video. I think it follows 3 sisters, and they are all children of a king. They inherit a fragmented land abandoned by the Romans, and this is a story that will shape the destiny of Britain. And this is a reimagining of a folk ballad that is set in ancient Britain. Sounds really cool. It also explores gender identity, bonds between siblings, a changing world, and an overwhelming power. The cover looks really brilliant. I just am really excited. Again, 535 AD. I don't think I've read any fantasy. I don't think I've read a lot of books even that take place in this period of time, so I'm very much interested in seeing what kind of world is created out of that time frame. The next book on my radar is The Force of Stolen Girls by June Her. This comes out April 20th by Fywell and Friends, and this follows a young woman who her father is kind of investigating the deaths of 13 young women, or the mysterious disappearances of 13 young women, and her father vanishes while he is investigating these disappearances. So our main protagonist protagonist goes back to her secretive hometown to pick up the trail and try and figure out this mystery herself, not only where these 13 girls have gone to, but now where her father has gone to. This is another one that takes place in like a time period and setting that I haven't read a lot about, and it's 1490s Korea. And this one, I don't think there's like any fantasy elements in it. I think it is strictly historical fiction and contemporary at that, so a YA thriller as well. This looks very fascinating. I definitely like thrillers where the main protagonist isn't like a cop or any sort of investigating like as a job, but they're brought in for personal reasons and they're exploring that. So I think exploring how she is going to be, I'm sure, held back in a lot of regards because she's a young girl in 1490, trying to figure out what happened not only to a bunch of young women, but her father. This looks like a very interesting and intriguing story. And then the final book on my list is These Feathered Flames by Alexandra Overy, and this is the first in a duology, comes out April 20th by Inkyard Press. This is a queer retelling of The Firebird, which is a Russian folk tale. So this is following twin heirs to the throne, and their fates are decided at a very young age. And it follows these twins as they're kind of battling with their fate, their predetermined destiny, and what they want their lives to be like, I'm sure. And then I'm just really intrigued to see the folktale elements to this. I really enjoy fantasy folktale reimaginings, and this one sounds really, really cool. The tagline to this is "Magic demands payment," and I think one is following more like a magical mage path, and then the other one is following a ruler or a monarch path, so I'm very intrigued to see. And it also has a female-female enemies to lovers romance, so yeah, I'm looking forward to this one. But there you have it. Those are some of the books that I'm really anticipating coming out in April 2021. Looking forward to them. Are there any on your radar that I missed in this video? Definitely let me know down below. Let me know if any of these titles are ones that you are interested in checking out. Thank you guys so much for watching. If you enjoyed, please be sure to give it a thumbs up, leave a comment down below, subscribe for more content from me. Stay safe, stay spooky, and I'll see y'all on the other side. Bye!